All right, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to view this short video clip. This week's videos were on speaking. So I want to talk a little bit about public speaking. Now it says public speaking, also called oratory or oration, is the process or act of performing a speech to a live audience. Public speaking is commonly understood as formal, face-to-face speaking of a single person to a group of listeners. Traditionally, public speaking was considered to be part of the art of persuasion. Now, what are the four types of public speaking? Mastering public speaking requires first differentiating between four of the primary types of public speaking. Number one, ceremonial. Number two, demonstrative. Number three, informative. And number four, persuasive. There are 7 elements to public speaking. Number one, speaker. The speaker, that's you. Speech communication begins with a speaker. Your success as a speaker depends on you, on your personal credibility, your knowledge of the subject, your preparation of the speech, your manner of speaking, your sensitivity to the audience and the occasion. Number two, the message. The message is whatever a speaker communicates to someone else. Your goal in public speaking is to have your intended message be the message that is actually communicated. You must narrow your topic down to something that you can discuss. You must do research and choose supporting details to make your ideas clear and convincing. The message you send with words, with your tone of voice, appearance, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact. Number three, channel. Channel means by which a message is communicated. When you pick up the phone to call a friend, the telephone is the channel. Public speakers may use one or more or several channels will affect the message received by the audience. Number four, the listener, the person who received the communicated message. If you talk to a friend on the phone, you have one listener. But in public speaking, you have many listeners. To be an effective speaker, you must be audience-centered. Number five, feedback. They send back messages to their own, affected by one's frame of reference. An example, I agree with you. I don't agree with you. That's feedback. Number six, interference. Anything that impedes the communication of a message. Have two kinds of interference in public speaking, internal and external. And finally, the situation. The time and place, the conversation always takes place in a certain situation. Now, as you begin to create, let's say, your online business or write a book or whatever it is that you want to do in the 21st century as an entrepreneur, you're going to be required to speak about it at some point, on some level. Now, many people have a fear of speaking in public. I was one of those people. But through trial and error and constantly gaining more information, over time, I became better at that. Now today, it's not difficult at all. It's still the butterflies will come up, but I know how to line them up so that they don't have a direct effect on the point that I'm trying to make or the message that I'm trying to relay, right? But if that doesn't happen to you real quickly, don't worry about that. You have to just continue on. Just keep doing it and you'll get better. You become more familiar with how it's making you feel for you to be in front of an audience sharing information about what you know or what you've created. Like if you've written a book, you created that book. Now, that shouldn't be something that's difficult to talk about, right? And it's not. But when you put an audience, when you add an audience to it, it becomes more difficult because you begin to say things to yourself that is not necessarily important for you to say to yourself, right? Especially if they're negative. So always be confident or as confident as you can, and just start practicing what you're going to say. Start practicing how, when people say, okay, listen, Larry, we love when you wrote that book about X. Could you come and speak to our audience about that? I know the book, right? I wrote the book. So I should be okay with that part. I should be able to walk through in the dark with my eyes closed and be able to say that. But when I open my eyes and there's a lot of people there, I have to be comfortable with that as well, right? So don't forget to like these videos, share these videos, and I'll see you when? On the next video. All right.